And I met a pianist, or an amateur pianist, but a very good one, who said whenever she feels stressed from work or whatever, she has a job with Microsoft or something in Seattle, she puts on Schubert. So I knew immediately this was a person that I could relate to, because a fellow Schubert lover. So she finds comfort in Schubert. And I thought about, why is that so many people love Schubert for comfort? Not always necessarily to be excited or to be dramatized, feel the drama. Although more than people think, Schubert has a very dramatic and even virtuoso side. It's not all pretty little melodies. So I'm going to talk about that aspect. But why people derive comfort, I think, is because Schubert speaks so simply sometimes. Even his melodies, for which he's justly famous as a songwriter, some of them are very simple, actually. And yet they're very touching because of the sonority and the setting and the harmony. It's very personal music. And I think because it's so personal and speaks with such simplicity and tenderness, people do find it actually a comfort to listen to Schubert. I'll be talking about some examples of that quality. But a couple of other things that I want to touch on are his rhythmic vitality, because he was very influenced by dance, folk dance, and he spent some summers just across the Austrian border in Czechoslovakia. And I think those summers of dancing and hearing folk musicians influenced his composing quite a bit. And one aspect of Schubert that I think is underestimated and undervalued is his incredible harmony. And often it's the subtle changes of harmony, or how he slips from key to key, almost like Mercury. You just suddenly you're there in a new place, and it's so almost takes your breath away. It's so poignant. So I want to point out some examples of that too. Schubert really is one of my favorite composers. He's right up there with Mozart and Beethoven in my estimation. He also is highly prolific composer, considering the fact that he was sick and was fighting illness for the last 5 or 6 years of his short life. He wrote a tremendous amount of music, dying at the age of 31. So more than 600 songs, piano sonatas, string quartets, symphonies, very prolific. It's like he had such a strong need to compose that even in the hardest of times, when he was just weeks away from death and not well, he was writing some of his most beautiful music. It just was something that he needed to pour out of him. So I'll be talking about those things and just how really beautiful and wonderful the music is, and urging people to play it more. It's really not right to talk about Schubert without reference to the songs, because that was so much at the core of his being and his compositional output. I'll mostly talk about the piano music because Musicale is a piano gathering. It's a place for pianists. So I'll talk mostly about that. Some examples from Mamma Musico, the short group of 6 pieces, from the impromptus, some from the sonatas, and maybe I'll even play one whole short piece all the way through.